Hello from Manchester. You see it's out there. I'm here in Manchester this weekend for a friend's stag do. I haven't got long before I should meet them for dinner. This week I will show you a how-to of how to do a notched collar. Show you what that looks like just in case you have no idea what I'm talking about. It is one of these, a sort of jacket collar with a notched edge. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? He needs to do it really quickly for the weekend for one of his friends, and he was a bit stuck on it, so he asked me to quickly do him a how-to. So I had to squeeze it in, so it's really rushed. But this is also the really quick way of doing it. Needlers are doing it all on machine, using fusing, interlining, just trying to do it as quickly as possible, both to show him and because he needs to do it really quickly. So I'll probably have to cut it into two. So this will be part one, and I'll show you part two another time. Ooh. So here's part one of how to do a really quick, really simple notched collar. So these are the components that you should have. You've got the front body, you've got the back body, you've got the facing for the back, you've got the collar. You should have two bits of collar and fusing, and then you have the facing, and then you have an iron that's kicking up a fuss. You quite finished? Okay. First thing, we fuse all the bits on to one another. And on the collar that I'm fusing, I've marked out a little bit here which I'll stitch across, which will help the collar fold over, act as a kind of break line, if you will. Okay, and I'm just marking a little notch point here. Okay, so first thing I would do is attach the front body to the back body across the shoulders. On this one I'm just going to do a straight stitch. You might want to do something, if you're not going to line it, you might want to do something that will tidy up that stitch, either a overlock stitch or a French seam, or something that will just stop it from fraying, something a bit neater. So I'm pressed for time, I'm not going to do that. It'd help if I had some thread in the bobbin as well. There we have the bodies as in together across the shoulders. Next I'm going to do the same thing but with the facings. So right sides to right sides. If I was doing this more sensibly, I would have started on that one and then done that one and then done it all in one go. I'm not thinking. So this one that's got the fusing on it is going to go on the underside, so you want to attach that one to the body. Before I do that, I'm going to do, as I said, a stitch line along where I've marked it to act as a break line to sort of soften the fusing that's inside of it. That softens it. In the bespoke business they do that. Sometimes they do it by hand and they pull it really tight. So they do a stitch and then they pull it really tight, and then that sort of gathers that up, which helps it even more sit like that around the neck. It sort of moulds it and shapes it. It's part of the reason why a bespoke garment is always better. Something done by hand. So next I'm going to attach that to the body piece. So you want it so that the seams will be on the inside. Now it's going to go from notched point all the way around to other notched point. I'm going to just mark the centre back to help me a little bit. I get it all even everywhere. Can you see? Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? We're going to come a quarter in. We're going to come a quarter in from this edge because you're going to be stitching over the top of that. So we're laying that a quarter over the notch mark. That's the ideal thing to do, is to get some basting thread or get some pins and pin it all in first. I'm sure you know that. Just make sure what you're doing is right before you actually stitch it on, because you have to really gather all of this in. Very different shapes going together. Concentrate, you do it wrong. So you want it right side, God's sake, the sides unfused to the right side of the fabric, so the seams are on the inside. Right side, right side. Then we do the same thing, attach the collar onto the facing. I started with the centre on this one because this just gets it a bit more even that way. So that one is evenly stitched all the way around. There's no puckering. A couple of pleats that will come out in the pressing, but it's very nice and neat, as opposed to this one, which I tried to do all in one and didn't spend any time pinning it or basting it and checking it. And I've got all of these hideous pleats underneath here, which are a no-do. But I'm not going to unpick it and do it because it's like nearly 9 o'clock and I need to have dinner soon.